Hello, my name is Dr. Julian Little and I'm the chair of the Agricultural Biotechnology Council, a group in the UK. The government chief scientist, Professor John Beddington, recently started talking about the perfect storm. And what he meant when he said this was essentially there are a lot of things that are coming together that are going to pose us a lot of problems. The first one, of course, is population growth. But overlaying on top of that were two other things. The first, of course, is things like climate change. But overlaying on top of those two was a third, which is a gradual but serious reduction in the sort of resources that we have available to us. And what I mean by that is reductions in the amount of oil, or the cost of oil, that is going to have an impact on our ability to produce food. And also other resources such as fertilisers and, of course, water. Water is clearly going to be a massive problem. Recently there was a report coming out of the EU that suggested that rather than the 17% or so drought-affected or water-affected area in Europe, this could go up to, say, 30% or even higher within 20-30 years. So these things are all coalescing: population, climate change, and some of our resources issues coming together in one big thing, the perfect storm. The question is, under those situations, how on earth, and literally how on earth, do we produce the amount of food that we're going to have to produce? Our view is that clearly science and technology are going to be absolutely essential. Now, if you look at science and technology, today we already use science and technology to quite a large extent. Our argument, and actually Professor John Beddington's argument, is that we're going to have to rack that up considerably in the future. What do I mean when I say that? Is that we have to look at all the tools that are available to us, whether that's genomics, whether that's marker-assisted breeding, whether that's precision farming, but also undoubtedly biotechnology and GM crops are going to be part of that mix of things that we're going to need. And the advantage of GM, whilst it's not a silver bullet, while it's not going to solve all our problems, but one of the advantages of that is that we can do two things. One, we can look at reducing the carbon footprint of agriculture, which is going to be absolutely essential when we're in this fight against climate change, but also looking at the adaptation of crops to the future that is reduction in fertiliser use, a reduction in the amount of water, and the need to produce a lot of crops under quite difficult situations. So if you look at those two, reducing the carbon footprint, what do I mean when I say that? Well, around the world, 10 years of history have demonstrated very clearly that the use of herbicide-tolerant crops has resulted in a massive reduction in the amount of ploughing you have to do. Reducing ploughing means saving vast amounts of oil in terms of tractor pulls. It also means that you're not on that field as often as you used to be with a conventional crop. So GM crops today, so in a current situation, are already reducing the amount of CO2 and the carbon footprint that is out there. And then secondly, about adaptation. So crops that can use nitrogen really efficiently so that you don't have to use so much fertiliser. Crops that will grow and yield under really good conditions, whether there's too much water or not enough water. So GM crops are simply part of the mix, and I believe are something that we in Europe must learn to look at more closely. Thank you.